Okay guys, in this tutorial what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and learn how to use some basic if statements in Java, dealing with strings and doubles and integers. We're going to learn how to use the else path of an if statement. We're going to learn how to use an if statement with a comma box. And we're going to learn how to get the selected index. So we're going to go ahead and do all this. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you guys to go ahead and build this interface. So you could, I'm going to go through this slowly, and then as I'm going through this, you're going to want to pause it and build it. Okay? So this thing right here, I call this JPanel1. This guy right here is called JPanel2. You could change the colors, okay? So this one right here is called num1tf, this guy. You don't have to name these because we're not going to change them. This one is num2tf. Again, you want to pause the video and do this as I'm talking, okay? This one right here is answer LBL, okay? Again, I know I keep saying this, but pause the video and do this and then unpause it and continue. This one is first name TF. This is last name TF. This is answer to LBL. I don't name these buttons. I don't care. Doesn't matter. This one is JComboBox1. Okay? And we're going to go to properties. And we're going to go to where it says model here. And we're going to click this ellipse. And we're actually going to get rid of these items. We don't want these items, and we want our own. So we're going to put dog, cat, bird. Okay? So now just if you watch what happens here, see we get these guys. Okay? So you're going to put dog, cat, and bird. Okay? And we don't put the commas. It'll automatically do that for us, which is kind of cool. And this guy, we just called it JLabel4. You could change it if you want. Did I change it? Actually, I did. I called it result LBL. Okay. So that's that. Let's go ahead and start our programming. So we're going to go ahead and do if statements with numbers. Okay. We're going to go ahead and click in this button. And we're going to go to here. So what we're going to do is if we look at our design here, we're going to have the user put in a number here. We're going to have the user put in a number here. And we're going to print out the larger of the two numbers right there. Okay. So we're going to do that. So we're going to go ahead and start off by saying int num1, int num2. Just create your two numbers. Now let's go ahead and get that number from the text field. We already know how to do that already. I hope you do because we've done it a whole bunch of times. There's prior videos on that if you need to watch it. So we're going to say, excuse me, integer dot parse int, and what do we want to parse? This dot num1tf dot get text. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and parse that. We're going to get the number 1 from the text field and parse it into an integer. Let's do the same with num2. Okay. This dot, I think I called it num2 dot get text. All right, wonderful. Okay, now here's the new stuff. This you should have already known, right? This is all the stuff you should have already known. Here's the new stuff. We're going to say if num1 is greater than num2, then we do this. This dot, I think I called it answer label dot set text, and we're going to do this. The bigger number is, okay, we put plus and then num1 dot 2. Okay. Okay, so we have to do this. Integer.toString. So that will turn it to a, is this good? Yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and run this now. So what happens is if num1 is greater than num2, this dot answer2 label dot, so we're going to set the text of answer2 label to the bigger number is num1. Remember, we have to do integer.toString, so it will turn this num1 into a string. Otherwise, this thing is all expecting all text here, and this is not text. We're going to run into a problem. So let's try it. So let's go ahead and put in 5 and 4. It says the bigger number is 5. What's the problem here? Well, looks like I labeled it the wrong way. So what's this one? This is answer 2 LBL, and this is answer LBL. Let's look at our code. And what did I do here? I put answer 2. I want answer. Okay, so that'll fix that. Now what happens if number 2 is bigger? We're going to say else if number 2 is greater than number 1, then we say this dot answer label dot set text, the bigger number is plus number 2. Okay, and that's it. Now we don't have to put this else if. I mean, these are the only two conditions. It makes it nice and readable. You could also do the else and then if on the next line. I like else if. It's just nice and easy to read. So let's run it. Let's see if it works. Let's go ahead and put 6 and 7. The bigger number is 7. Let's go ahead and put 8. All right. Now you might be saying, hey, Mr. S, what happens if they're equal? Well, that's another else if. Else if number 1 is equal to number 2. Notice here there are two equal signs. There is a double equal sign there. It's not a single. It is not a single. That will result in an error. The logical equal sign to compare is two equal signs, okay? You need two equal signs. And then we'll say, I'm going to copy and paste this because I'm lazy. And I'm going to say the numbers are equal, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. The numbers are equal. So let's go ahead and run it and see if it works. The numbers are equal. Beautiful. The bigger number is 1. The bigger number is 5. Okay, you see that there's no space here? Let's fix that. See how it says the bigger number is? You see how this one has a space between the S and here? Let's go ahead and put in a space so it's not right on top of each other. So this is a basic if statement. If this is true, do this. Else if this is true, do this. Else if this is true, do that. If it does any of these, like let's say it does this one, it skips all the way down here. It doesn't do this stuff. That's how that works. It only does this else if this is false, and it only does this else if this is false and this is false. That's how to do it with numbers. It's pretty easy. What I want you guys to do is take a minute and figure out how to modify this so you can get the smallest number. Okay, I'm going to put that as one of the assignments, but you could try that on your own now. All right, so let's look at the next thing we want to do here. Now let's go ahead and do it with strings. This is quite a bit different. I don't know if we're going to get to this in this video, but let's go ahead and do the strings now. This is a little different. Okay, and we're going to do this. If the first name is Mike and the last name is Smith, we're going to print out you could go. Otherwise, we're going to print out you can't go. Okay, so we're going to say string first name, string last name. Remember, you should be putting str first name, so let's go ahead and do that. Str. When your programs get bigger, this will make your life easier. Okay. Alrighty, and then we're going to say this. For, str first name equals. Now we're going to go ahead and just copy what's in the label there, the text field. So this dot first name text field dot get text. Okay. Str last name equals this dot last name text field dot get text. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do our if statement. Okay. This is a little bit. No, we have a problem here. This cannot find symbol. Str last name. What do we call it? Str last name See, there's an N there. Let's get rid of that N. There you go. Okay. Now the strings are compared differently. This is very different. We have to say if str first name dot equals quote Mike okay, we want to see if the first name's Mike and the last name's Smith, okay? And we're going to do this and str last name dot equals Smith. Then what should we do? We do this. We say this dot answer to label dot set text. You may enter. Okay, so that'll work. Now we'll say if you're not Mike and you're not Smith, you can't enter. So we're just going to do this. Else, I don't care what it is. We don't have to put else if because we're checking if you're not Mike Smith, you can't go. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this. All right. You may not enter. So what'll happen is if the first name is Mike and the last name is Smith, you can go. And you have to do dot equals Mike. You cannot put the double equals with strings. This is how you tell if a string equals something. This is the only way you're allowed to do it. If you do it any other way, it won't work in Java. Java's a little weird like that. So first name, we said what? Mike. Last name, you have to be Smith. You may enter. How about if we're not Mike Smith, if we're Mike Jones? You may not enter. See, very good. So this is how we compare strings. So I'm going to stop here for now. So you can see comparing strings and comparing integers is very different. These are very different structures in terms of how you do this. This logical AND will allow you could say and the middle name is, Dave. So if you're Mike and the middle name is Dave and the last name is Smith. So we're going to talk more about this logical AND, but just know that for this example, this is how we would do it. You don't have to do this. There's another thing we could do, which we're not going to go over right now. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful and get an idea of how to use a basic if statement for integers and a basic if statement for strings.